Good morning, Easter Friday. Thanks for having me on. Do I say that? And I've got my CEO, the boss, Andrea, helping out. So we're not at the stables today. It's a home game. It's a pretty quiet morning in terms of racing. Had a very busy few weeks, as you know, and it's been a fantastic few weeks. I hadn't won a race at the championship, so very, very happy to win the Doncaster and yet alone top it off last week with the Sydney Cup. It was very, very special. Arapaho, he was dominant. Great ride, Rachel King. He's been with us a long time, so you need your stalwarts to stand up, and he really did. So both him, he's gone for a break. He's gone up to Richmond Farm, and he went up with Steffi Magnetica, who was huge in the Queen of the Turf. She had a very similar run to the Doncaster. Unfortunately, it just didn't quite. She just had to get herself out of that gap, and it was probably the difference between winning and losing. So she's gone for a break too. Arapaho's going to come back. Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup. Steffi Magnetica, we're going to look at the King Charles. That is our current king, King Charles, yes, on Everest Day, over the mile, $5 million race, and then probably look at getting her down to Melbourne. So the race we wanted was the Doncaster. So it's been a very special few weeks, and the horses are running great. As well as Steffi Magnetica, Imperial Force ran brilliantly, which I thought he would in the Arrowfield. He was just beaten, but he was very, very game. He's been a horse that has continued to improve. He may well go to Morphettville Saturday week and run in the Tobin Bronze, a 3-year-old Group 2 race. If he wins that, we can go to possibly the Goodwood, and Derby just keep finding really good horses, and he's another one. And Within the Law was fantastic last week. They just didn't go overly quick, and she sort of had to get herself out of the gap, and she ran on really well. Unfortunately, she couldn't quite pick up second, but she was great third. Another Group 2 placing. Of course, she runs this Saturday in the Champagne. We'll get to that a little bit later. As well as that, Tiberius was a great winner on Thursday. First starter. Ole Kirk's just continue to improve. I've only got 3, so Ole, Tiberius and Cold Gin on Wednesday. That was a tragedy beat, and she was full of running on the corner and just couldn't get a run. She was hard held. I'm sure she would have won, and probably won dominantly if she'd got clear ear. So they're very, very good horses. Ole Kirk's looking like he might be the next sire sensation. He had another winner on Wednesday. He's leading the first season sires in terms of winners and prize money. And I've only got the 3. They're really good. But I bought a lovely one out of Go Indigo at the sales. And definitely one of the better credentialed Ole Kirks that went through the sales this year, out of a Group 1 winning 2-year-old. And she's just absolute quality. The sort of horse that, as a trainer, I've dreamt about training. So can't wait to get her into the stable. If you're interested at all, email Georgia. As well as that, Miss Kim Carr was...
Or head to the website.
Correct. And Miss Kim Carr was great returning on Thursday. So she won a super race. And she's in for a good prep. Of course, she won 3 in a row at the back end of last preparation. As well as that, we've had Cabalis, Passagard and Raikkonen all trialled really well. And next, I'm off to Perth on Sunday with my family. So we're looking forward to getting over there. Of course, the Quokka Saturday week, and we'll probably send an update next week from Perth. But he looks to have travelled over well, overpass. He had a good gallop yesterday morning, very similar to what he's done in the past, and we think he's going to be well set up to go well. Of course, he's got TJ Smith form that's going to stack up very well, I would have thought, in the Quokka, and he's Mr. Consistent. He always runs very well, and Ascot suits him beautifully, so can't wait to get over there. You talk about good horses, you're always talking about Derby and where we're going and what we're doing. So as well as overpass in Perth, Imperial Force in South Australia, we also have Iona Merck going up for the Archer in early May too. So that's $1 million race. It's 1,300. He's been out for a week and a half. Had a little bit of a freshen up, and he's come back to the stable. He looks great. He's a naturally fit sort of a horse. He didn't have a lot of luck in the Doncaster, but he's taking pretty good form lines up for $1 million set weight race at Rockhampton. So we're going all over the country. We'll just start going international with Derby. We've got it made. Right, any questions?
Well, you're going to introduce your special guest?
Oh, I've got a special guest, Rasmus Baker. Hey, buddy.
And a bit of the old COVID vibes here, Bjorn.
Yeah, he's pretty casual, our mate.
The live format. So we've got a few questions here from Champagne Mully. Any idea when Perfumist will be back racing? Maybe the start of spring?
Yeah, really excited about Perfumist. She did a marvellous job, winning 4 in a row. Then she was a good second at Randwick, and then of course ran a great 5th in the Kiwi. And I think that form is going to hold up pretty well. She is a really promising filly. We will probably have her back racing at the start of spring in the new season. You'd love to think that maybe a race like the Golden Eagle could suit, but she's very progressive, she's got a lot of ability, and she's exciting, so you can't wait to get her back. As a trainer, you put some of these nice horses out, and I'm confident that she's going to come back better again for a good break, so can't wait to get her back.
Rob is asking if you've got any worries with a Randwick track for tomorrow. The rail is further out, he hears.
Yeah, funny enough, it's Sydney's really patchy weather. We have at Warwick Farm we had no rain Wednesday night, Thursday morning, but they did get a fair bit at Randwick. So it's funny, we had a lovely, beautiful, dry morning. So Sydney can be really patchy. I think it's a really, really nice day today, and yesterday afternoon was beautiful too. So I think the track will be perfect. The rail's out 6 metres. I guess you never quite know how it will play, and sometimes you can overanalyse, and a lot of it comes down to race shape and speed as well. So we'll keep a good eye on that. We've got a few races before we kick off, and yeah, the track's actually been playing really well at Randwick, and pretty fair, I would have thought. When I get a winner, it's perfect, and when I don't, it's not quite.
William says Belclair on Saturday looks up to it, but New Zealand form this year for her is very ordinary. How's she going, and are you confident on Saturday?
Yeah, I guess we'll get to her a little bit. She didn't have a lot of luck in New Zealand. It's always sort of I can only go off her probably a couple of runs in the spring that give us a bit of confidence in terms of the invitation and of course the Hot Danish, where I thought she had magic times measure fair and square both times. Actually the map looks very similar, even though there's a lot of good horses there. No doubt it's a big ask, but you've got to be in to win.
What are your thoughts on Winning Proposal?
Yeah, nice filly. She trialled really well during the week and definitely got plenty of upside for Vardy thoroughbreds. So she's a well-performed filly. We're still learning about her, but she looks to have really good ability. So she'll have another trial, and we'll have a good think about where we go, maybe even the stakes race that's going for her.
And someone's asking, how's Sapphire Rose coming along?
Yeah, she's a lovely filly too. She's had a good trial winner last time in, and she's building up nicely. We're going to give her a good gallop on Wednesday, and she's not far off trialling, probably another week or two, but very nice filly. Blue Point's doing a great job.
And when will Shervington be back in the stable?
Yeah, he's just having a break. He did a good job last preparation too, winning 2 from 3, and maybe just had enough that last run, but he'll definitely come back. He'll be better for this preparation. And yeah, looking forward to getting him back. Great pedigree, of course, half to Malkovich and another Derby horse.
Joe is asking about Tiberius, the lovely Ole Kirk gelding that you have. Will he be heading to the BRC Sires?
Now, the BRC Sires has been, unfortunately...
BRC?
BRC, yeah, it's one step at a time. Yeah, we'll possibly look at going to Gosford, the 1200 metre race, in, I think, 2.5 weeks. And then if he happened to win that, it does become an option, but just one step at a time.
Fantastic. Do you want to do a few more questions or head to...
Yeah, questions, hit me.
Will Hayek run next Saturday?
Possibly.
That was a quick answer. Within the Law has a new jockey. What happened there?
Collett was booked.
Oh, is this rapid fire? There's lots of duplicate questions about Within the Law and Hayek.
Yeah, Hayek went well first start. He just played up in the gates a little bit, slightly missed it, had to work. I think it's going to be a pretty good form race. Next Saturday may be too soon, but we'll definitely nominate and weigh it up.
Okay. This is an interesting question. Which is your pick of your yearlings that you have left with opportunities available?
Yeah, it's interesting. There is, I guess, the Ole Kirks, the way they're going, it's hard not to love the Go Indigo filly. I think she is an absolute smasher. We've got a really nice Perencanto colt we bought in New Zealand out of Dazzling Lady with a good pedigree. He's a really underrated stallion. Perencanto, he just keeps delivering good horses, and I think he's good value. There's 5% left in a little to sort colt who's in the stable at the moment, and he is a great looking horse. So
he was quite a good price point too, wasn't he?
Yeah, about 200,000. So he's a good chance physically and early stages to possibly get back to the Magic Millions. That's what we dream about. I've done it twice though, from limited numbers.
And William's got another question asking about Broadway Follies run yesterday. Where to next?
Good run. Yeah, she just sort of got back on the inside, 3 back on the fence. It's always hard to pick that ground up at Wyong, and she hit the line really well. So there is a few races, possibly Anzac Day or even next Saturday, which is a relatively quick turnaround. But after that, there's not a whole heap. So we'll just weigh it up, see how she comes through, and have a good think about it.
As we've been talking, have you heard how the Stay Inside colt is going in pre-training?
Yeah, which one?
Paul, you'll have to come back to us with which one that is.
Going great. He's a big chance to be a good stallion. Right, there we go. So we've got, we'll get into Randwick. Of course, we've got Alabama Charm at Kemmler Grange. She ran okay in the Percy Sykes. 1400's good, really bad gate. So I'm just debating whether we run. She's going to get into an awkward position. We've got runners possibly at Nowra and Mudgee on Sunday. I think a Bar in Paris will be hard to beat there. Nowra, Tigerletta is possibly going to run there. And then Canterbury on Monday, we've got 3 runners. Ellipsis, I think, is going really well. She's got some good form from last preparation. Line of Fire's got a big weight, but he's got a good gait, and it's probably one of the weaker races he's been in for a while. So I think he's a really good chance. And Winner of Kowloon has trialled really well. She's got a good gait too, so we'll try and take advantage of that. Definite each way home. Then we get to Randwick tomorrow. So we've got Dame Commander kicking off straight into stakes grade. Last time in, she was 3rd in the Spring Stakes. She's a lovely filly, by so you think. I think she's going to be better over further. Bit of an awkward gate tomorrow though, so we're just going to have to weigh it up, whether we sort of try and get a spot or just go back. I think no doubt she's going to be better with a run or two under her belt, and probably as she gets up over a mile, but possibly Queensland Oaks candidate. Always a tough race, and she's first up 1400, so we're going in more hopeful. If she hits the line, we'll be very happy for next time. Then we'll go straight into Sandpaper in the last race. It's actually a pretty good race, and there's plenty of horses on speed. So I did debate whether we go next week, but there's plenty of rain forecasts next week. So at this stage, we're leaning towards running. We've got Nashua Willer on. He had excuses last time. He did not handle the wet track at all. So I think his form's a little bit better than it suggests. I think he's over the odds. I think he's a really good each-way chance. I'm just hopeful. There's a few horses that are fresh up that might go elsewhere, that might be thinking the same way. There's a bit of speed. So I'm confident there'll be 1 or 2 scratchings.
Nadine's asking, how is he fitness-wise for tomorrow?
Yeah, he's very good. He's fit. He's been racing for a while, so he's up against a lot of horses fresh up. So we're very confident that he's well. So I think he's a good each-way chance. Then we'll go straight to the Champagne Stakes. Within the law, she's jumping from 1200 up to a mile, but she's very casual. She's relaxed. She had a stretch of the legs on Thursday. She went really well. Whether she's bred to get the mile or not, she is out of a done deal mare. That gives us a bit of confidence, and you're only 2-1. So this is the last Group 1 she can really have a crack at. Of course, she's already won a Group 2. She's been the English pin-up horse, and she's got a great temperament. So Karen McAvoy rides. She's got a good gait tomorrow. She's jumping up and trip considerably. I don't think we have to go all the way back. I think she'll be able to put herself midfield. and hopefully get a nice run. If they go quick, she should be able to get in behind, and if they go slow, hopefully she's a little bit closer than she has been. So I'm confident she can run a big race. I think she's bringing the best form lines to the race, and I'm confident that she's set to run a good mile. And then we get into Belclare, all age stakes, really tough race. Obviously the favourite's going to be hard to beat. Briasa beat overpass last time, but that's not the only horse. There's about another 10 that are really well credentialed. One thing about Belclare, she's had a good trial since she's been back. She's had a couple of really good gallops. We're confident that she's working probably as well as she did in the spring. It's always hard to be confident in a race like this. It's definitely a step up in terms of what she's been in New Zealand recently. But she's got a good gate. Rachel King rides. There doesn't seem to be a whole heap of speed in the race. I'm confident she'll be able to lead, and that's how we'll ride her. And from the 1400, sometimes if you can get away, she's got a little bit of freshness on her side. So we're going in hopeful rather than confident. That's it.
I've got a question here that surely must be asked with a bit of sarcasm. I heard Within the Law is a bit of a nutcase. How do you manage horses like that? No, she's got a lovely temperament, doesn't she?
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, they told me she's great. She might be coming to the end of it, but she's generally pretty good.
Loza wants to know how she's an A-lister.
Yeah, and unfortunately she was in the TJ Smith and she just got galloped on and cut herself. So she's definitely taken it a little bit longer than ideal to come right, but we've still got races on the card, possibly Scone, possibly the takeover target at Gosford. We'll just see how we go over the next few days.
And I've got a few questions here asking for plans for Tiberius.
Yeah, well, possibly that Gosford race and Under the Sides Produce. You've got to use these. What are they called? Tarangas. They're for listening.
I think there might have been a couple of late joiners. I think we already talked about Winning Proposal too. And
that's it.
It's not. If you had... who's your best bet this weekend?
I should have asked Lobby and Luke. Best bet this weekend is, I think, Within the Law. I think she always puts in 100%. If she does that tomorrow up to a mile, she's definitely got class on her side.
Mm-hmm. And I just interrupted you wandering around the house before looking for places to put your trophies.
Yeah, that's right. We've got a few.
The problems, hey?
Yeah, just watch out. It's sunny outside. Put your sunnies on. Dreamt of getting one. Now we've got two.
What's that in the eye?
Diamond.
Pretty impressive.
Anyway.
Okay.
Take care. Good luck over the Easter weekend. Enjoy it. And we'll be in touch from Perth next week.